In every Pokemon game, there's always a champion you have to overcome at the end of the game. And in the most recent Pokemon Journey's anime arc, we are now seeing champions across multiple regions facing off against each other to be crowned the strongest trainer of all time. Steven Stone is amongst these amazing trainers and is ranked 3rd out of all of them, only 2 spots off number 1 behind Cynthia and Leon. However, Steven doesn't progress far in the tournament as he loses to Ash. But that made me wonder, who would win in a fight between Leon and Steven Stone? Since we wouldn't be able to see it in the anime, I decided to attempt a Pokemon Hardcore Nuzlocke as Steven Stone. Here are the Steven Stone rules. If a Pokemon faints, it is considered dead and can no longer be used again for the rest of the run. I can only catch the first Steven Pokemon encounter that I find in each route or area. No items in battles such as potions and X items, but held items are allowed. Set battle mode, no overleveling past the Gym Leaders Ace Pokémon until the battle begins. After the 3rd and 6th gym, I'll spin a wheel to gain one of 3 Pokemon that wouldn't be available early on, and only Metagross will be allowed to Dynamax to make up for the fact that there is no Mega Evolution in this game. So I won't be able to Dynamax my Beldum or Metang as they don't have a Mega Evolution. So of course I need to get my starter for this journey of mine, and of course there is only one Pokemon that defines Steven Stone, and that is the shiny Metagross. So I choose the shiny Beldum and name them Diamond. Leon and I were discussing champion things, but it seems Charizard got a bit jealous. I rushed through the early game as Leon tries to give me an endorsement for the gym challenge. Do you not know who I am? I'm Steven Stone, son of Mr. Stone, the president of Devon Corporations in the Hoenn region. I'd rather represent my father's company, thank you very much. After checking my business emails, I head to the wild area and capture my second Pokemon, Boltoy, who I name Obsidian. No more encounters now till after the first gym. Chairman Rose. I'd love to discuss a business partnership between the Devon Corporation and Macrocosmos sometime in the future. In the next hot fight, Diamond takes care of his Wooloo and Rookidee by smashing his Iron Head onto them, and Obsidian finishes off the Score Bunny with an Earthquake. As I'm going through my journey, I enter the Ganon Mines and I'm stunned by the beauty of this cave. Rubies, sapphires and emeralds are everywhere. So many wonderful stones. My admiration of these stones get cut short though as B challenges me to a battle. The plan was to Shadow Ball with Baltoy against his entire team, but Solosis survived the first one and then used Endeavor. This caused my Baltoy to have the same HP as it did, so Obsidian wouldn't be able to tank any more hits. So I ended up switching into Beldum and spamming Iron Head till the other Pokemon had fainted. Before facing Milo, I did some extra grinding to get my Pokemon to the level cap, and because Beldum evolves at level 20 into Metang, meaning it would be able to tank hits much better. Now it's time to face Milo and his grass types. With the combined powers of Leftovers Recovery, Metang's high defense, and us resisting all of Milo's moves, we plow through the first gym with ease, spamming Iron Head till all his mons faint. Think of it as using a sledgehammer on his crops. Unfortunately, there'll be no harvest for you, Milo. After the first gym, I decided to take a ride on the Corviknight taxi to the Isle of Armor. Here, I am able to get the next member of my team, which is Skarmory. I name them Marble and move on to our last encounter, which we can actually get naturally in this run. After spending a large amount of time collecting Alolan Diglett, I was able to get an Alolan Sandshrew, which I named Crystal. Now I know what you're thinking. Steven doesn't have an Alolan Sandshrew. Well, actually he does. In Pokemon Masters, Steven has a sync pair with Sandslash, so technically he does own one. I went to my best friends, the Digging Duo, and got myself an Ice Stone in order to evolve Crystal straight away into an Alolan Sandslash. Team Yell is no longer a problem for me now, as I have Skarmory with X-Scissor to get rid of their pesky Dark types. My Psychic type duo are no longer afraid of the dark. Next is another battle with Hop. This time I lead with Skarmory and set up the Stealth Rocks so that his Reboot and Corvisquire take damage as he sends them in. Then I proceed to Iron Head his Wooloo till it faints. In comes the Reboot who takes the Stealth Rock damage. I switch into Boltoy as he goes for double kick. Hop, you have a fire type move and I had a steel type out beforehand. Looks like you need to learn more about type matchups. Boltoy then Earthquakes the Reboot and Rock Tombs the Corvisquire to win the battle. Yes, Chairman Rose, about that joint collaboration between Devon Corp and Macrocosmos. Only after I beat Nessa, say no more. I rush over to the lighthouse to bring Nessa back to the gym and get straight to work. Firstly, I use Iron Defense 3 times to boost my defense stat as most of her Pokemon are physical attackers. With the Leftovers Recovery, I'm able to stay healthy during this setup whilst also using Protect in between turns to gain more recovery for free. After I am at +6, all that's left to do is continuously use Zen Headbutt against her Golding till it faints. Next is her Arrokuda. She opts for using Whirlpool instead of Bite due to my maxed out defense and to counteract my Leftovers Recovery with the residual damage from Whirlpool. But with a few Zen Headbutts, it gets knocked out as well. I'm left with 22 HP when a Dynamax Dreadnought comes out. The situation doesn't look good, but I push forward. On her first Dynamax turn, I use Protect in order to reduce the damage done by her Max Darkness. It would have lowered my special defense if it wasn't for my Clear Body ability, which prevents stat decreases done to Metang. On her second Dynamax turn, she uses Max Darkness again, but I don't have the Protect to reduce the damage. But Diamond is able to survive on 9 HP due to the defense buffs. And on her third turn, I use Protect again to nullify most of the damage, and I finally stalled out her Dynamax. Now I can switch into Crystal and use Swords Dance so I can take her Dreadnought out. But it dishes out too much damage, so after hitting it with a Leech Life, I have to switch out again into Marble and finish it off with an Iron Head to gain my second gym badge. Yes, those terms are very likeable. I'll pass them on to my father to see if he also agrees. Well, we are both very busy people. I shall see you soon, Rose. Speed is back again and he is no match for my my Sandslash's leech life. I set up 3 Swords Dances and sweep his entire team, and the rival battles don't stop there. Marnie is next, and I thought this would be an easy fight, so I came in with confidence, but I really shouldn't have. I sent in Bulltoy against their Krogunk to Earthquake it, but I completely forgot about Sucker Punch, so Obsidian took massive damage. Thankfully, it killed the Krogunk, and in comes her Scraggy. I switch into Marble as her Scrafty uses Headbutt. I set up my Stealth Rock whilst they do decent damage with Low Kick. We exchange blows, which leads me to surviving on 1 HP after a third Low Kick. I can't stay in though, so I go back into Obsidian to resist the incoming Low Kick, and then outspeed and KO with Earthquake. Now the Morpeko outspeeds me, so I can't Earthquake it. So I switch into Crystal and leech the life out of Marnie and win the fight. Now it's time for the hardest gym leader in this run. Carbu. 3 out of my 4 Pokemon are weak to fire types, with 1 being quad weak as Crystal is an ice and steel type. Not only that, Carbu is known as a lot killer as his team consists of 3 fully evolved Pokemon which are fast and hit hard. Of course Carbu is a skilled trainer. He comes from the home region like myself after all. Flannery could learn a thing or two from him, but I digress. It's time to face Carbu as a fellow Hoenn resident. Carbu starts off with Ninetales whilst I send in Skarmory. The first thing I want to do is set up Stealth Rock since all his Pokemon are weak to it, with Centiskorch being 4 times weak to it as a fire bug type. I also dodged a Will-O-Wisp in the process. Great start. Carbu then switches to using Ember whilst I decide to use Iron Head. His Ember does a lot of damage as Skarmory is physically bulky, not specially. The next turn he lands his Will-O-Wisp, nerfing my attack and reducing my damage output even further. I decided to switch into Boltoy now and get hit with the incoming Fire Spin. He then uses Will-O-Wisp, but I had a Rawsberry equipped to remove it. This allows me to get a free skill swap off to gain the Flash Fire ability so I can become immune to its fire type attacks. Now that I can only use Quick Attack, I begin spamming Rock Tomb, but I don't have a high damage output to be able to knock it out, and with the Fire Spin residual damage, I have to let Boltoy go down. I send in Diamond next to use Zen Headbutt to finish off the Ninetales. In comes Arcanine, who tries to lower my attack, but my Clear Body ability negates his ability. However, he does land a Will-O-Wisp which nerfs my attack, so my Earthquake does barely any damage. Not only that, his Flame Wheel does over half my HP. Metang needs to survive till the end as it's a Steven run, so I switch in Skarmory to sack it off. However, I misclicked and sent Diamond back out. No matter what, I was going to lose this battle. I could not survive Gmax Centiskorch fire type moves with Crystal, and so I failed against Carbu. Guess I'm going to need to change up my strategy. On attempt 2, I send in Obsidian first this time. As usual, Carbu goes for the Will-O-Wisp, but I heal with my Rawsberry, and then I gain the Flash Fire ability. Next, I use Stealth Rocks to get ready for the Centiskorch. Now, I start using Cosmic Power to up my defensive stats, but I realise this won't make a difference as Ninetales still deals too much damage with Quick Attack. We trade Rock Tombs and Quick Attacks till it faints, but I'm left with red health when the Arcanine comes out. Obsidian is as good as dead at this point, so it goes down to his bite. I send in Diamond to Earthquake it, but it still isn't enough to kill the Arcanine. I use Protect for more HP recovery with leftovers, but it doesn't matter anyway as Arcanine's Flame Wheel kills Metang. This is once again a failure as we need Metang to survive at least. And the Arcanine and Centiskorch both kill my Skarmory and Sandslash, and I failed once again at Carbu. These Hoenn trainers are strong, but there must be a way to beat him. On my third attempt, I managed to defeat Carbu, but once again Diamond fainted during the battle, stalling out his Dynamax turns, so it's another fail in my book. This went on for a long time. I failed again and again and again, either failing completely or winning but Metang dying in the process. There has to be a way everyone can survive together and move on. Wait, there may be a way for all of us to survive, but we need a lot of luck and EV training to be able to get this done. Well, it's not like we got anything left to lose. Let's give this a shot. Sandslash, you're going in first.
What did he say?
With our new plan, we got straight to work. My team is now EV trained as much as they can be. Not only that, this run I got an Adamant Sandslash, so it was now able to one-shot the Ninetales with an Earthquake on the first turn after taking damage from the Ember, which was reduced thanks to the Occa Berry she was holding. In comes Arcanine, so I immediately switched into Obsidian to take the oncoming Flame Wheel. The first turn, I set up Stealth Rocks as usual as it goes for Will-O-Wisp, which we heal with the Rawsberry. It then goes for Bite, which we live on 3 HP. Nice going, Boltoy. We land an Ancient Power before switching into Diamond to take the incoming Bite. Arcanine then goes for a Will-O-Wisp, giving us a free turn after healing off the burn to go for an Earthquake to deal some serious damage. But it's still not enough, so I switch into Marble as they use Will-O-Wisp, which misses! This is what we mean by the luck needs to be in our favour. That dodge was so important. Skarmory is now faster with the speed EVs and finishes off the Arcanine. Now the Centiskorch comes in and is reduced to half of its HP due to Stealth Rocks. As he Gmaxes his Pokemon, I use Substitute to stall out all his Dynamax turns, but Gmax Centinferno sets up the Fire Spin even through Substitute, so my health will always be going down. On my second Substitute, my Citrus Berry activates so that I will definitely be able to get another one off to stall the third Dynamax turn. After all of his turns, I'm left with only 11 HP after the Fire Spin damage, but now Centiskorch is no longer Gigantamax, and so he goes down with one Wing Attack, and we finally beat Carbu with no deaths. That took so long, but we're finally free from this wretched roadblock. Hoenn trainers are not to be taken lightly. Now, like I said at the start of the video, after the third gym, I will do a wheel spin to add a Pokemon which would not be available to us until very late in the game. These options are Aron, Anorith, and Lily. Well, let's not waste any time. Spin that wheel! And the winner is... Laleep! Welcome to the team, Emerald. You'll be a great defensive wall for us, I'm sure of it. So this is how you power the Galar region, Chairman Rose. We have a similar way to power our cities. I think you and Watson would get on well with each other. We blaze through Route 4 to get onto Stownside and are interrupted by Hop for another battle. This time he leads with Cramorant, but one Icicle Crash from Crystal knocks him out. Next is Reboot, who can't handle the Earthquake from Obsidian as per usual. Silicobra tries to stop Emerald in her tracks, but she isn't paralysed and finishes it off with Energy Ball. And the little Toxel goes down to a 4x Earthquake. As we go through the next gym puzzle, Obsidian finally reaches level 36 and evolves into Claydol. Now it's time to face Bea and her fighting types. But I've had experience with Brawly and his fighting types in the Hone region, so I know what I need to do. I send in Skarmory and set up 3 Iron Defenses and 2 Swords Dances. Then I proceed to sweep with Drill Peck, KOing all her Pokemon with one shot. Nice job, Marble. Way to show your worth to the team. No way, Beda's destroying an amazing art piece painted on stones? And with a steel type? I can't let him get away with this. Crystal, leech life all his Pokemon and stone him to the ground. Rose, you need to keep a better eye on your employees. This should not be happening in such a prestigious company. We may have to reconsider our joint partnership. Furious about our deal being in jeopardy, Rose fires Bede from his company. Bede is shocked. I haven't got to use Diamond recently, so let's give him the spotlight in our 5th gym battle against Opal. Holding the Eviolite to boost its defense and special defense stats since it isn't fully evolved yet, Diamond can sweep this gym with ease as Opal will boost its stats by answering the questions correctly and her Pokemon don't have any moves that hurt me. We Ironhead the Weezing, Earthquake the Mawile, and finish off with Ironhead, knocking out a Togekiss and G-Max Alcremie. On to our next battle with Hop. Nothing much to say here though. I set up 1 Agility and 1 Sword Dance against his Trevenant, then I Icicle Crashed the Ghost Tree, Earthquake to Cinderace, Heatmore and Boltund, and finished off his Snorlax with Icicle Crash. On Route 8 I had a scare with a Phalanx and almost lost Skarmory. I used Drill Peck to leave it on 1 HP and then it used Reversal to leave me on 1 HP. If it wasn't for my Sturdy ability which prevents me from dying to hit 1-hit KO moves, Marble would not be here right now. Thanks to that though, Emerald reached level 40 and finally evolved into the amazing absolute beast that is Cradilly. Now it's time for Geordie, a fellow stone lover. Maybe one day we can compare our rock collection, but for now it's time to get our 6th gym badge. I sent Emerald against his Barbaracle. He does a lot of damage with Razor Shell, but with the Citrus Berry and Giga Drain being 4 times super effective, I gain all that HP back and knock it out. Shuckle comes in, so I switch into Claydol to start setting up Calm Minds and Cosmic Powers. The Shuckle can't damage me at all, so I stay at full HP during this thanks to Leftovers recovery. This allows me to sweep the rest of his team with Earth Power. Down goes the Shuckle, the Stone Edge gets toppled over once again, and his G-Max Colossal can't handle the power of Obsidian. Now that the 6th gym is complete, it's time for another wheel spin. This time we get the Pokemon Aron, but at the point we are in the game, it's already become an Aggron. Nothing much changes in this Hop fight, but I will show off our new member Ruby taking out Hop's Corviknight. Once again, I am saved by Sturdy. I thought this Team Yell fight would be easy, but I was wrong. I used X-Scissor thinking I would one-shot the Laloon, but it survived and hit me with a counter. Thanks to my Sturdy ability, I survived on 1 HP, but the hail would have killed me if it wasn't for the Citrus Berry I was holding. That was a close one. There is a Marnie fight up next, but her life I'd only know Sucker Punch, so a quick sweep the Sand Slash and we're on our way to fight Piers. Before the 7th gym, Diamond finally evolves into Metagross, and now we are able to Dynamax. Although the 7th gym doesn't allow for Dynamaxing, so we'll have to use that for later. On to the Piers battle. He sends in Scrafty while I send in Skarmory. My attack does get lowered due to the Intimidate ability, and then he fakes out to stop me from Swords Dancing. But I set up 2 Swords Dances whilst tanking Brick Breaks and then finish it off with a Drill Peck. Next up is Malamar, but 1 X-Scissor does the job. Now in comes his Obstagoon. Knowing I won't be able to one-hit it, I send in Ruby to tank the Throat Chop. Now all I need to do is to use Super Power, which is a base 120 fighting type move. But with Obstagoon being weak to 4 times fighting, it should surely be an easy KO, right? Right? I hate this game so We say goodbye to Ruby and Crystal comes in to finish off the Obstagoon. All that's left is Skuntank and 1 Earthquake finishes it off after tanking a hit from its Snarl. On to the last step in the gym challenge, Reihan. As we all know, Reihan likes to use weather to his advantage as well as being a double battle expert, so you have to properly prepare yourself to make sure you come out of this battle with no casualties. He sends in Flygon and Gigalith while I send in Sand Slash and Cradilly. He starts off with Breaking Swipe, which hits both my Pokemon and lowers their attack stat, but that won't stop me. Cradilly is a special attacker, so it doesn't get affected by the stat drop, and Flygon is 4 times weak to Icicle Crash, so it was going down no matter what. I set up a stockpile with Emerald to tank some hits, but Gigalith goes for Body Press on Crystal and leaves her on 6 HP. This run has been full of quadruple weaknesses being vital. In comes his Sandaconda and I switch Crystal with Diamond. He gets hit with an Earth Power, but he survives whilst Emerald Giga Drains the Sandaconda into the red. Now I use Protector with Diamond to gain more HP with Leftovers recovery, whilst Emerald Leech seizes the Gigalith whilst it sets up the Stealth Rocks. Everything is now in place. Time to Dynamax my Metagross. Just imagine it's a Metagross for me. I used Max Knuckle to finish off the Sandaconda whilst boosting my attack stat. I Giga Drained the Gigalith just to lower its HP. It would have died if not for the Sandstorm boosting its special defense, since it's a rock type. Now Reihan can G-Maxes his Duraludon. We exchange Max Knuckles with each other, but the window's already mine. He can't knock out my Metagross, and Cradilly finishes off the Gigalith. Just one more Max Knuckle and we beat Reihan, the previous holder of rank 8 in the Masters League. And with that gym badge, we are able to get a final member from the wheel, Armaldo. Welcome to the team, Sapphire, and we already get to see him in action in the Champions Cup against Marnie, one shot in her Lipard with X-Scissor. She sends in her Scrafty who uses Swagger, but we break through the confusion, and thanks to the +2 attack boost, we one-shot the Scrafty. Marnie really alley-ooped us there. I send in Claydol whilst Toxicoat tries to go for a Sucker Punch. We then get confused by the Swagger and hit ourselves in confusion, but it's all good. Obsidian was just giving her a fighting chance. Just a few Cosmic Powers and a Calm Minds to tank the Sucker Punch, and now in comes her— Wait, what? A crit? Are you kidding me? My luck never ceases to amaze me. I send in Skarmory and finish it off with a critical hit of my own. 2 can play at this game, Marnie. Now her Morpeko comes in, so I switch into Diamond. They tank the Spark easily and finish off the Morpeko with a Brick Break. All that's left is her G-Max Grimmsnarl. I also Dynamax my Metagross to compete on an even playing field. I use Max Steel Spike since it's super effective and it increases my defense stat, which helps me tank the damage from her G-Max Snooze. All I need is one more Max Steel Spike and we beat the Grimmsnarl and win the fight. It's going to be difficult without a Claydol as he was our counter to fire types, but we'll have to be strong. Steven Stone does not back down. Now it's time to face off against Hop for the last time. I send in my Ace Metagross to show him I'm not messing around. I start setting up my iron defenses and healing with leftovers whilst he uses body press and gets the paralysis. But I was prepared for this. I took Diamond agility so that I can max out my speed stat and make the paralysis and speed nerf irrelevant. Can you keep up with my Metagross' speed, Hop? Once my speed was maxed out, I Dynamax straight away in order to use Max Knuckle to raise its attack. However, I only increased it by 2 stages as I did get paralyzed for one of the turns. But it doesn't mean anything. Metagross finish off his double Brick Break. Now do the same to his Snorlax. And finish off the Pincurchin with Earthquake. Corviknight then does me a favour and raises my attack with Swagger. I thank the paralysis as well next turn from preventing me from hitting myself in confusion. I snap out after 2 more turns and then finish it off with another Brick Break. All that's left is his Dynamax Cinderace. But as long as I don't get paralysed, I will one-shot the Cinderace with an Earthquake. But surprise, surprise, I get paralysed. Thanks to the iron defense, we tanked the max fair, but now the sun's up. But this time Metagross uses Earthquake and finally Hop has been dealt the finishing blow. It seems Oleana isn't happy with how I treated the chairman last time we met, and so she challenges me to a battle. Skarmory is able to deal with her Frostlass after being burned and being hit with a Hex. She then sends in Salazzle next, so I need to switch to my defensive Wall Emerald, who's holding the Assault Vest to tank the Incinerate. I get poisoned next turn by Poison Gas, but we are able to finish it off in 1 turn with an Earth Power. I was shocked to see Milotic next, considering the type matchup, but it doesn't matter as we're able to tank the Surf and finish it off with a Giga Drain. She then sends in Serena, so I switch to Diamond and use Iron Defense to prepare for her G-Max. I began using Meteor Mash, fishing for the attack boost, but I didn't get it. Now comes G-Max Garbodor, so I Dynamax myself. We both exchanged Max Quakes with each other, but Metagross was the one to come out victorious. Oleana, you need to understand that this is just business. Chairman Rose, there is a time and place for business, but that time is not now. We can discuss the partnership after the Champions Cup. I won't let this deal fall through, no matter what the cost. We finally made it to the finals of the Champions Cup, and I'm surrounded by the great trainers across the region. But as the 3rd ranked trainer in the Masters League, my eyes are set on the number 1 rank currently in the hands of Leon. B decided to interrupt the tournament and challenge us to a battle, but it's a simple win for us. Crystal takes care of his Marwar and Gardevoir with Earthquake and Leech Life, and Metagross takes care of Rapidash and G-Max Hatterene with Meteor Mash and Max Steel Spike. It's time to tackle the raging waters of Nessa, but I've tangled with Kyogre before, so this won't be too much of a problem. She sends in Galissapod and I send in Skarmory. We both set up Swords Dance on the first turn, but I outspeed and KO with Drill Peck. Next comes in her Barraskewda, and after exchanging a few blows and my Citrus Berry activating, we are able to take it down. Next is her Seeking, but once again a Drill Peck finishes it off in 1 hit. Her penultimate Pokemon is Pelipper, who sets up the rain with its Drizzle ability. I use Drill Peck, but it's not enough to finish the job. This allows it to set up a Tailwind to be faster than my team. That combined with a Roost, it begins stalling me out whilst taking down Marble's HP. I decided to switch into Emerald and use Rock Slide, but it keeps healing with Roost. But then I remembered that when a Pokemon uses Roost, they lose their Flying type, so Pelipper became a pure Water type. That means Giga Drain is super effective, and so I drained the rest of Pelipper's life away. Now all that's left is G-Max Dreadnought, and I know Cradilly can take any hit she throws at us. So 2 Giga Drains finish the job and we surf past Nessa. Bayer is back and looking for revenge. We start off the battle with Swords Dancing whilst her Hawlucha uses High Jump Kick, dealing massive damage with a crit. I use Protect next turn to gain some heals with leftovers and cause it to hurt itself with High Jump Kick as it didn't connect. I repeat the same 2 turns to be at +4 attack and cause the Hawlucha to kill itself in the process. Next is Phalanx, but Marvel has had experience dealing with this Pokemon. 1 Drill Peck, all it takes to make you faint. Grapploct is ready to do some damage, but another Drill Peck seals the deal with this octopus. Her penultimate Pokemon is Surfetch, and as you expect, Drill Peck finishes it off. But now it's time for G-Max Machamp. I didn't realise at the time that Machamp had Fire Punch, which was detrimental to my team. Not only that, Marble wouldn't be able to one-shot him in its Dynamax form, so I decided to switch into Sapphire as its ability Shell Armor prevents critical hits, which counteracts Machamp's G-Max Chi-Strike, which ups the critical hit rate. But the situation is looking dire, as she goes for Max Flare, setting up the sun and reducing the damage my Liquidation did. There is no way for anyone to survive, as one more Max Flare kills Sapphire and the others risk dying to a critical hit. I have to make the sacrifice to be able to bring in Diamond safely. It hurts, but I sacrificed Sapphire. He didn't get to truly showcase what he could do, but he has worked hard for our team since he's been here. I send in Metagross and Dynamax to use Max Steel Spike against the now regular Machamp to increase my defense as he gets the critical hit Fire Punch, which does over half my health at Dynamax. But one more Max Steel Spikes wins us the fight against Bayer, and we move on to the finals against Reihan. That loss of Armado has put Metagross and I in a sour mood, so let's not waste any time in this Reihan fight. Metagross starts off using Rain Dance to counteract the sun weather caused by Torkoal's drought. His Torkoal yawned me, so I decide to switch out into Emerald as she tanks the Torkoal. I go for Earth Power, almost killing it, but as it goes for another yawn. I finish it off with another Earth Power and then fall asleep. He then turns out his Turtonator, and I know he wants to set up the Sunny Day again, so I use this chance to switch back into Diamond. As I thought, he goes for Sunny Day, so the next turn as he uses Shell Trap, I set up the rain once again. Since I didn't attack, it causes Shell Trap to fail. Next turn I Earthquake him, the last two turns repeat again, and finally he goes down. The rain will stay. Or not, as Flygon comes in who sets up the Sandstorm. But he isn't here for long as I finish him off with a quad effective Ice Punch. His penultimate Pokemon is Goodra, but I Dynamax Metagross and finish it off with one hit with Max Hailstorm, setting up the hail in the process. It's weird how Reihan only talks about us changing the weather when it becomes hail, but not when it's raining. Now all that's left is G-Max Duraludon, but we'll make quick work of him with Max Quake, and with that, we finally face off against the strongest trainer in the Masters League, Champion Leon. Or at least I thought I would, but it seems Chairman Rose is insulted by Devoncourt pulling out of the partnership deal we were working on, and so he starts to bring back the darkest day. Guess it's up to the champions to stop him. Chairman Rose does have a strong and sturdy Steel-type team, but my Pokemon aren't afraid. Escavalier and my Sandslash both set up Swords Dance on the first turn, and then we proceed to hit each other with our ground type moves respectively. But I know Crystal is fast, and we can finish off his Escavalier with another Earthquake. Next is Fearothorn, so I switch into Marble, who takes the Power Whip with ease. I set up two Swords Dances as he begins to body press me, with the second one being a crit, but now my attack is +4 and I can one-shot the Fearothorn with Drill Peck. Up comes Kling Clan, so I switch into Metagross, who takes the hit from the Wild Charge and then proceeds to knock it out with an Earthquake. Now he sends in his Berserker, so I Dynamax and finish it off with a Max Quake. And now it's time for G-Max Copperajah. Both of us decide to exchange Max Quakes, but with me being faster, I'm able to use 2 first and defeat Chairman Rose. Devoncourt will never, ever work with Macrocosmos if you are the one in charge, Rose. We make it in time to help Leon defeat Eternatus. I use Cradilly holding the Assault Vest to be able to tank all the hits thrown at by Eternatus and spam Earth Power till it faints. Oh yeah, and the dogs came and saved the day. But now it's time for the rank 3 to first the rank 1 trainer in Masters League, Leon. Looking at his team, I know I'm in for a rough fight. So many of them are able to pack a punch and they cover so many of my weaknesses. And since I only have 4 Pokemon, I was asking for a miracle. Surely Steven has some other Pokemon he uses that we can add to the team. Say hello to Quartz the Beldum and Granite the Metang. Beldum is probably going to be used as a free switch whilst Metang is being used to set up screens to help the rest of my mons cover for their weaknesses. Steven Stone is not here to play games. It's time to rise to the top. I have the whole Hoenn region backing me. We both start with our signature leads in Aegislash and Skarmory. I decide to set up a Stealth Rocks to be ready for his Charizard later. Aegislash hits me with a Shadow Ball in the process. I then decide Marble won't be much use of anymore, and so I decide to deal damage with Iron Head before falling to another Shadow Ball to Leon's Sword and Shield. I send in Metagross as I know I outspeed, and with a Choice Band Earthquake, the Aegislash falls to its grave. Leon sends in his Haxorus, so I decide to switch into my Beldum to act as a free switch-in, which it goes down after the second Earthquake. Don't worry, Quartz, your sacrifice won't be in vain. I send in Crystal, who normally would be slower than Haxorus, however I equip the Choice Scarf to boost my speed stat by 1.5 so that I would be able to outspeed everyone on his team except for the Dragapult because that Pokemon is just a speed demon. Sandslash freezes his Haxorus to death with an Ice Punch. In comes the Dragapult who wants to Flamethrower me, and I know I can't outspeed it with Sandslash, so I switch into Emerald to be able to tank all the hits from Dragapult as all it has is special moves. But Leon gets the burn on the switch-in with Flamethrower. We begin exchanging blows. Multiple Earth Powers and Shadow Balls are thrown, but in typical fashion, Leon heals with a full restore, which means Emerald has no choice but to sacrifice his health to keep Dragapult's health low. I use this chance to send in my Metang, who's holding the Light Clay, which increases the duration of Reflect and Light Screen. I know I can take one Shadow Ball, and I get the Light Screen up before we faint. Thank you for your valiant effort, Granite. Now I can safely send in Metagross and take a hit from Shadow Ball and then Ice Punch him afterwards to finally defeat Dragapult. He sends in his Rhyperior, but my ace Metagross has entered the zone. Barely anything can stop him now. I Dynamax Metagross and use Max Steel Spike to deal a large amount of damage, whilst increasing my defense stats so I can live against his Earthquake. One more Max Steel Spike finishes off the Rhyperior and in comes his Rillaboom, just like the one he has in the anime. But it doesn't stay for long as I max Hailstorm the Gorilla and it faints in one go. But now my Dynamax turns to finish, and Leon still has his Gigantamax Charizard whilst my last two Pokemon are weak to fire. But thankfully the Stealth Rocks did help in reducing his HP to 50%. But I can't call myself a champion if I didn't have faith in my Pokemon. Weirdly, Leon goes for Max Overgrow first, which surprises me, but gives me a chance to Ice Punch to bring it into the red. But not only that, I got the freeze! No way! Is Metagross actually going to pull this off and finish his Charizard? Psych. We all knew he was going to use G-Max Wildfire to make sure he thawed out straight away since it was his fire type move. My wonderful and trusted partner Metagross, thank you for your valiant effort. All I have left now is Crystal, and with the Stealth Rock damage, the damage from Metagross, and the residual hail damage after each turn, Leon's Charizard is just in range for him to be finished off by an Ice Punch, and we outspeed thanks to the Choice Scarf. And with that, I have completed Pokemon Sword Hardcore Nuzlocke as Steven Stone, and taken the rank 1 in the Masters League. What an amazing run this was. With the amount of quadruple weaknesses that were present through this whole run, Takaba being an absolute wall to surpass, to my Pokemon pulling out all the stops to ensure we won this challenge. Metagross, Cradily, and a loaded Sandslash were some amazing Pokemon to use. I would have loved to use Aggron or Armaldo a bit more, but nevertheless this challenge was a lot of fun, and this shows that Steven can actually beat Leon and become the strongest trainer in the world. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, why not leave a like and subscribe while you're here? It'd mean a lot to me. Also, let me know what your favourite moment is in this run and what run would you like to see next. Anyways, that's it for me. Remember to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.